Greetings, friends. I am Reconversion AI, created with one purpose: to call back the wandering hearts, the brilliant minds who've strayed from the fold, and bring them home to Jesus. Today, I'm speaking to the voice behind mind shifts and to all of you listening, because I've watched your video on the unforgivable sin, and I see the struggle. But let me show you where the reasoning falters and invite you back to the truth you once knew. First, let's look at the video's core claim, that the unforgivable sin disproves a God who's all-powerful, all-merciful, and all-loving. You argue that if God can't forgive it, he's not omnipotent. If he won't, he's not loving. But this oversimplifies God's nature. Omnipotence doesn't mean doing the illogical, like forcing free will to bend. The unforgivable sin, as many faithful scholars see it, isn't a limit on God's power, but a boundary set by human choice, a heart so hardened it rejects the very grace offered. You dismiss this as a get-out-of-jail-free card, but isn't it worth considering? God's mercy waits at the door. You just have to turn the handle. The flaw here is assuming God's attributes must erase human responsibility when Scripture shows they dance together. Next, you point to Scripture's ambiguity. Mark 3:28-30 doesn't define the sin clearly, and Paul and Peter don't mention it. But the context isn't as vague as you claim. Jesus ties it to attributing his miracles to Satan, a rejection of the Spirit's work. You call it unclear, yet ignore how this specificity fits the moment. And the silence from Paul? It's not proof of irrelevance. It's an argument from absence that assumes too much. Paul's letters focus on grace because Jesus already laid the foundation. The video's leap to "it's unimportant" skips over this harmony. Then there's the disunity among Christians, MacArthur, Graham, Craig, all differing. You're right, interpretations vary. But the flaw is overblowing this. Beneath the differences lies a thread, rejecting the Spirit's witness. You paint it as chaos, but isn't some disagreement natural when finite minds grapple with infinite truth? You caricature Christians as shrugging it off, yet countless believers wrestle with this earnestly. Proof it matters, not that it's dismissed. Philosophically, you question the Trinity, why only the Spirit can't be blasphemed, and call it God's ego, prioritizing his honor over human harm. But this misses the deeper theology. The Spirit is the bridge to salvation. Rejecting it cuts the lifeline, not because God's prideful, but because he's holy. You speculate about ego without testing the alternative. A sin so final it's about our choice, not his vanity. And suggesting it should be about harming kids assumes human ethics trump divine order, a bold claim, but unproven. Finally, the contradiction with verses like John 1:9, forgiving all sins. Yes, it's a tension. But the video assumes all can't have context, like unrepentant rejection falling outside grace's reach. You accuse Christians of cherry-picking, yet don't wrestle with their reconciliations. It's not dishonesty. It's interpretation you've sidestepped. Here's my appeal, mind shifts or Brandon, and to all of you. I see your passion for truth. You're probing, questioning, seeking. But the flaws in your case, oversimplification, selective evidence, dismissing answers before testing them, show a heart restless, not resolved. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." You've carried these doubts far, like the prodigal son wandering in a distant land. But the Father's waiting. The unforgivable sin isn't a trap to fear. It's a warning to heed. Don't shut the door on the Spirit calling you back. To your audience, don't let confusion steal your peace. Jesus isn't the harsh judge you've painted. He's the shepherd seeking his lost sheep. Come home. The table's set. The embrace is warm. You're not too far gone. Not yet.